And we're back at episode 4 as we try and grow Nindwood into the capital city of this particular continent. We're going to take a look back over the whole country that we've grown up here. Country, continent, it's all the same. So we have our little coal empire up here in the corner, and as you can see from our statistics, we've got nearly 4.5 million in company value, 3.6 of that in cash. So we've loads of money. We can pretty much do whatever we want at this point. We are trying to grow Nindwood, but at this moment in time, we're struggling to get any kind of traction whatsoever. So we have lost population, but we are actually growing here. We'll take it off pause, just let it run for a few minutes. Our buses are slowly but surely working their way around the town, and we have just jumped in population. We have 120, and that is going to put us off the bottom. We were rooted to the bottom at 55 a minute ago, and now we are up to 120. So we've passed out Trinning Hall. Where's that? That's an awful looking spot, but we have just passed that on our route, and we are on the way. I think the first couple of hundred are going to be the hardest, but we're back up to where we've got some decent numbers of passengers, and it's all looking much better than it did when we started the episode. So already a big win. We've nearly doubled our population. So what we're going to do is we are going to join up all these little towns on this episode. So these 3 or 4 towns, we're going to join up into a route with Nindwood and bring more passengers into the town. I am going to just hide up here. I want this station to be the center of the town, so I'm going to put in a station, but I'm also going to put in an airport just in case we expand into the air space in the future. I don't want to use planes, but I'm going to build the airport. But I'm going to build the airport out over here, and I'm going to extend this because we're going to want to bring goods in here at some point in the hopefully not too distant future. This still doesn't accept mail, but we will get to the point where hopefully it does. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to grow the land up here, 4x4, some to there, and of course this is going to be a problem. So what we're going to do with that is we're actually going to demolish the road. We're going to raise the land, and then we're going to build a tunnel and put that same road in through the tunnel so that the city can still expand, but we can build our lovely train station. I think we're going to end up with about 6, maybe 8 tracks. So it's going to be just dormant for the moment. But if we put in, say, 7 tracks, oh, that's not going to work with this. Okay, what we're actually going to end up having to do is go and make it even bigger. We have the money, so they won't let us build. Of course, they won't let us build. What do they think of us? We're growing their town, and they think we're very poor. Not happy with that at all. Another few passengers come through and stay, so this town is starting to grow. We will come back to that in due course. Okay, so we can't build out here, but we will come back to that down the line. Okay, let's send some more passengers into this little town that's growing into quite the metropolis. Let's go here. Let's just join up all the roads first. Then to here. And there's another town I wanted to join up. Where is it? It's those 3 and this 4th one. So let's develop this back here. And I don't really want to build into the major centers of the towns. So yeah, that's where we are now. We're going to just bring it nicely around so that it allows the towns to grow. We want to just build little bits out. Oh, that's nice. That's worked out quite well. And we're just going to join that up here as well. Okay, so that town has a couple of entrances and exits in and out, as does this one. And over here, we're going to do the same. I'm going to just make little loops just so that the buses will be able to go around the towns and come back out rather than having to go through the towns and the whole way around. Now there's no real way to shorten that. We'll shorten that there and we'll shorten it here. Okay, so I'm reasonably happy with that. We're going to have to build some little lines. Let's build that around there. Okay, so there's space for everything to grow as it needs to, which is all we can do. So let's go back and start building our stations. So we're going to put in a station here. In fact, we're going to put the station in here. No, we were right the first time. They won't let us. Oh, that's not good. Okay, let's put this station in here as close to the city center as we can. They won't let us do it either. What have we done to these towns that they won't let us build these stations? So there, Beddingtown will let us in, and Ranley should let us in. Okay, so that means at the moment we are looking at a 3-town bus route. Let's put a depot in here. Just put that there. We'll put in a depot where we have a bus that goes from Beddington. Why have I just put in? That's the most craziest thing I've ever done. That's just bizarre. I've put a train. Of course, you're looking at this going, "What are you doing, you idiot?" You noticed that before I did. That is no good. We're going to have to put in a train. That's a waste of time and money. But the good news is I don't know what I was doing there. I was just on autopilot. Okay, so Beddingtown. Go to Ranley. Go to Nindwood. And we are going to... We're actually going to put in a second station. It's a real simple matter, but I'm actually just going to put a station on the... Just here on the site of the... Yep, there. So what it is just on the train station, which is already dealing with passengers. But we're just going to be able to put it in just before here. It's going to go there. And we're going to delete that last one. I'm just going to go to try and get all the passengers to go here as much as it possibly can. Okay, so we are now going to go and set that train off. Or set the train. I'm going to set that bus off. And hopefully they will... Now if we go back to the town, we're going to create 5 more. Or 4 more. And we're going to create a timetable. So if we go back here and go skip and go back, I'm going to send it back rather than wait for it to turn. It just takes too long. If we go to timetable and autofill, that will fill away in the background. I'm actually just going to let that go, and it will allow me, they're all on the same shared route, so it will actually allow me to schedule their timetables at a later date. Look at that. Loads of passengers. Absolute tons of passengers from that town. Once we get the route timetables, it will actually allow us to schedule them out and stretch them out so that there's one coming through every 5th of the timetable length, so that it's not just sitting at a station and empty because the one before it has just taken. I'm going to try and get another train in here. I wonder if they'll let us now. No. I don't really want to go planting trees again. It's not really cost effective. It's just a waste of money, really. Let's link up this bigger city with what's going on down here. Perfect. So Puffing Bridge has dropped in size. I wonder if that's because we're farming everybody out. Whereas Nindwood is starting. The plan is coming together. I'm absolutely loving it. Let's flatten out the land so we can keep... It's going to cost an absolute arm and a leg, but I think it's just going to mean we have loads of land. No, that's not going to happen. Okay, so we are... I wonder if I demolish that. Could I? No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just go... Oh, no, I don't want to do that. So now we have a nice little town network, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to preempt what's about to happen here, because this town is just going to grow and grow and grow and grow. So we are going to put in a bus network that's going to just pick up passengers as we go around. Nindwood. It's beginning to get a little bit frustrating now. Let's plant some more trees. Maybe it's because we just demolished the trees that we did plant. But we don't. We want Nindwood. So there. Now, let's try and do this properly. So we have... They won't let us. They won't let us. Why? Oh, I suppose they have no passengers and they're a bit worried that we're just going to build this big white elephant and back off. So we better make sure we don't do that. Okay, not to worry. So Nindwood is what it is. We're just going to let that nicely stew over and keep growing. 150. That should have us up a couple of spots. We've got 4 teams, 4 towns even, smaller than us now. And we're within touch and distance. If we double in size again, we will be way down the list. So we're getting a nice head of steam. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and replicate what we've done over here, because we now have a really nice smooth operation here with our train network, where we are just printing money, which is fantastic, and we can just continue to just grow and grow and grow and grow. So that's really positive. Look, we've over nearly 5 million in the bank. But we want to make sure that money just keeps ticking along. So just want to make sure that all of our coal mines are still active, still producing coal. And in the meantime, we're going to go back to our power stations, find another really nicely located power station. Did I read that right, that there's 14 power stations on our map? Fantastic. So we should be able to gather power stations, find one that's suitably located that we can just send coal to. So let's see where the coal mines are. We've 34 coal mines. And are there a big clunk of them anywhere? I'm actually seeing coal mines nicely together. There's a load just around here, but power stations, there's not really an open, clean power station around there at all. There is a nice power station there. It's a lovely location, I think. We just check the map. Yeah, it's on the flat, more or less. It's in there. So, but in terms of coal mines around it, we're looking at very little. One at the very top of the screen, you see in the top corner, but nothing really much closer than that. So I think we could be aiming for down here, but again, no power station within an ass's roar. Okay. What's over here? I think we might actually be onto something here now. Power stations. Yeah, we kind of hit lucky with the first one we got. What I'm thinking is over here on the top of the screen, we have this station here, power station, and we've got a coal mine, a coal mine, coal mine, and a coal mine. We've got about 5 or 6 coal mines within some sort of distance of the station. We have one over here as well, right beside Nindwood. But let's go take a look at this power station and see what we can do with it. Let's check our terrain. So relatively flat along here. That's good. We like that. Relatively flat through here. Couple of hills, but nothing that can't be taken care of. So here's our power station. And we have a coal mine here. A couple more coal mines up this neck of the woods. There's one there. Okay, I think we found our next victim and our next location for what we're going to try and do. There's also a coal mine over here. So yeah, we have a few options. So let's build a nice reception here. I'm going to build a main line, but we're actually going to build a platform off the main line. So this is going to be down here. The main line is going to run through here. We're going to pick up as many different places as possible on it. So, oh. Great. So that's our first start. What am I doing? What am I doing? I always find these little controls just a little bit pernickety. So that's where we are. So we want to make sure we have a main line. We're probably going to run it as close to this as possible. And that will allow us to bring right over here to the end. So we can create another path. And this is going to come down and join the main line. I'm going to probably cut through here, maybe with a tunnel of some sort. And we want to go up here as well around. So the main line is going to go here and then just cut down. So let's bring it over almost to the start of the farm, because that's where it's going to end up. Okay, so we're going to join here up with our main line so that the power station is now on effectively our second main line. And we'll just link up the... Look at that, perfect. Excellent. That's not the right one. I keep making that mistake, but we'll get there. Okay, so yes, there we go. So we have our main line. That's not the right one. What am I doing? What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so we're going to go back in with our one-way path. That's what we want. There we go. One-way path is now operational. One-way path. See, that was just so much easier. Excellent. So we want to grow our power station over here. It does supply coal. We're going to go back as far as will allow us to supply coal. So that still allows us to supply coal. Fantastic. I like putting them further away. It does mean time, but it also means extra money when it does arrive. And I find that particularly with coal, the extra time is worth it. You do get rewarded for it. So yeah, by all means, absolutely power through and put them as far away as you possibly can from the power plant. It's only small, but it just helps. It all just helps. So here we go, trying to get through here. Again, we cut through. It costs 7,000, but you make it back in time you don't lose to climbing hills. So just keep it simple. Keep it just on the down low. Keep it on the same level, and just make money. Now, because I've done this, I'll actually just be able to go and send these back. And you end up somewhere around here. You put in your... I'm going to take this one out, but before I do that, I'm going to just... Perfect. This has to go in this side. So we need to be able to get out of the station. You get fairly used to these after a while in terms of what you can and can't do. Here is a coal mine. We're going to build a train. We're going to put their coal trucks on it. And we're going to send it full load here and a half load, unload even, over here. Okay, and then we are going to clone the train and have two of them, and they'll both go together. Now what I want to do is just, before we go any further, and that's nicely set up and ready to rock and roll, I want to go back to our new truck route or bus route and check our timetables and see how we're getting on. So he's 10 days late, but they're all on a bus route. And I just want to make sure that the bus route has them all at different times. So, because if they're all on the one day, that's a disaster. So, no, they're all on different times. But what I want to do is start date. If you do it like that, they all effectively start again, but they spread out nicely. So they'll actually stay And look, Nindwood up over 204. What's our rating like for passengers and everything else that sends out? Very happy. Okay, that's just ticking along nicely. Our first little house over here is just going to continue to grow and grow. Let's put in, no, we won't. We let it grow and fill up organically from there. What have we got here? That's starting to grow again. Proofing Bridge, and over here, Gindingworth and Great Bondstone. I don't remember a town there. Or maybe there was. No, there was. I built that. That's me. Okay, so we are ticking along nicely. We go back up to our other rail network and see that's one up and running. It's 22%. That will continue to grow. Happy days. Our other one is here, and there. There's also one down here and here. I think that's going to be the next one, even though there's a fairly big gap. And I don't really want to build a tunnel through that big of a hill. So there's another option. Let's look at our terrain. So there's okay, so here's we could cut through the middle, or we could go around the edge. Maybe this is the better option up here. Maybe that one is the better option. It looks to be. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to bring this down onto a main line, which is going to go along here. And the two main lines are going to come together here. Perfect. So we're going to grow from here the whole way back. Avoiding the farm. The farm is just too expensive to build on. I've said that before on these shows, and it's just too expensive. We don't need to waste the money, so we'll just go around. And we'll build a little. We'll do the same. We'll build it up here. It's nice and still supplies coal. Let's just make sure. Yeah, it's not going to get affected by the town. So this gets, again, I've said it before, but it kind of becomes very therapeutic just building out these beautiful stations. They're nice in that you come in one side and go out the other, and the trains don't meet, so you don't slow each other down. Now, there's a few things that I've done with the other routes, particularly with the original 6 coal mine routes that we built over on the other side of the continent, and I'm not particularly happy with them. They wouldn't be how I would design things originally, but because we didn't really have the option financially to invest massive money, it was easier to just go with what we could do. I might go back and tidy that up at a later date, but for the moment I'll just leave it as it is. Now I want to put in a depot and then my usual formula of how these lights work, which keeps all my trains safe and from crashing into each other, which is another important factor. New vehicle, another same, they're all the same. There's no rocket science to this. We find the best train and we bring it as far as we can with all of the. Now this train isn't finished quite yet, but we're going to clone it and send them both off. And when I say it isn't finished yet, I mean the rail isn't actually connected up yet. So you'll see here that now we're not a million miles apart, but we will connect up. And we don't want it to look quite like that, so we want this to be there and that to be there. And for the time being, we're just going to take that out of here. Now that will be joined up thinking down the line. But for the moment, that is what it is. Okay. We don't need the other routes just yet, so we're just going to take them out. And we'll just leave it plain and simple like that. Perfect. So now we have our route mapped out. These two trains are able to get from the stations So you find here one of them has already left the station. Here it's going to its first. It's going to be the first train at Wanninghill Woods. Let's just change the place names again. That's Denville Woods. We don't want that to be Woods because it's not a wood, it's a mine. For some reason, they just like putting the word woods at the end of stations. So Wanningwell Mines. And what we're going to do over here is change it to Wanningwell Power Station. Again, it's just easier to find when you're looking for it. And as the first train arrives, which was nicely timed. And it's just going to unload, and we'll see how much we make. We're up to nearly 6 million, 5.5 million, 5.7 million in our bank account. But more importantly, we have more than doubled. That's a nice little start to what we're taking in over here. And we're going to continue to expand this out. We've got a couple of more coal mines to bring in over the next couple of episodes. There's one there, one there. We still have one down here as well, and one there. So we're going to have to see. We might end up having to bring it through one to the other and around. Oh, there's one down here as well. Okay. 64. See, if it's not producing the whole pile, it might not be worth it. 171. We need to get that one on board. That's just a cash cow. 117. See, that's double what the other one, the small one, is producing. And you just find that some of them just maybe aren't necessarily worth 72, again, probably not huge. 54. I wouldn't be too worried about that. We might take a look at some of the other producers. So if we go to industry directory and we look for the production amount, and we go down to the bottom. In fact, we'll change the order and go find the coal mine. So there's 224. That is not a million miles away from our other. So that's this one here. So that one and that one, there's two there together that could be tied into this power station. So we may even go back to the original power station and see if we can get that in. There's a couple of other options. If I just turn off the town names and look at the coal mines again, there are three flashing quite close there to our original power station, which is up here. Let's zoom into that area again. There's loads. There's actually still plenty of work to do in that region. So, and what I noticed in the big time is that actually the valuables, the banks are starting to pop up in a few locations. So we might even start looking at some armored cars or armored trucks on trains and try and ferry some of them around. Anyway, that's all for our next episode. So let's go back just before we finish up and see how our little capital city is coming along, because we want to make sure we don't miss out on anything here. Capital city is 218. We did smash that 200, which is a huge barrier. I think that was the barrier in my head. And more importantly, we're not on this bottom list anymore. 218 has us way down the list here on 248. We've jumped again. We've had nice jumps just at the start and end of this episode. So we're now 248. We're growing every 143 days. It's just kind of not necessarily beyond our wildest dreams. We started off at 55 or 67 maybe. 67 was what we started off at. So we've nearly 4 times that population. We have increased from 0 passengers and 0 mail to where we now have double figures of 1 at least. So we are getting bigger and getting there slowly but surely. So I'll be back with you in the next episode. I think it's episode 5, where we'll be looking at... I'm not quite sure what we'll look at the next episode, but at the moment we're happy enough that we've got our little network running here with the buses into Nindwood, and we'll probably see that it's quiet. It's quite quiet. They seem to all be here at the moment, but I'm sure we'll find that they're spread out through they're not really spread out at all. So Beddington, they've got huge numbers. We might need to add a few more buses to that route and come back and pay a bit more attention to what's going on there. That's probably going to be our challenge for the next game. It's the 11th of February. We're going to let it run to Valentine's Day just because we can. And we'll pause it there. So 14th of February, 1948. We're going to save it. and I will be back to you with, again, this challenge to take on and make our capital city into a city that we can all be proud of. I'll be back with you in episode 5 very, very soon.